Hi, welcome to this video, and this video really is about startups and being most efficient. So the contents or the title of today is in-house technology development versus integration and first mover advantage. So what I mean by this is when most startups start, they may have an idea and it could involve some sort of hardware. This is our Sensi-All platform, but they have an idea and they basically go away and they start developing this technology. But I think that actually in some ways that's holding them back because there's, at least in the tech industry, people do talk about integration and first mover advantage. Or by integration, I kind of mean taking things that already exist, putting them together. The bringing them together is part of the value add, and there's also this sort of first mover advantage, which is actually taking them out there and getting them onto the market. So I want to emphasize the importance of integration and first mover advantage as to always being fixated on the science, technology, and engineering. So at ZP, we do have a bias because we think for people who are trying to do electrochemical sensor development, that we have a very good platform for them, which is the Sensi-All platform, which comes with electrodes or sensors. We have a range of these, and if the sensors or electrodes don't exist, then they can be developed. We do have an app. This app is available. It's called Sensi-All. It's available on the App Store and also on the Google Play Store, so it's for iOS and Android. We also have a cloud system called Julie, and this works with the app so that all data that's gathered actually ends up in the cloud. And this app Julie also has an API, so it can actually plug into third-party clouds as well. So this is our technology stack. So we think that this is part of the solution about whether you develop technology or whether you go for an integration and a first mover advantage. And I would say go for integration and go for a first mover advantage. But let me dig into that a little bit more now. So when you look at the kind of spend versus time with a startup, there's this kind of curve where, spend essentially increases with time. And a lot of investors spend, a lot of time raising money, and then, they try to execute on their plan. Now, their focus is often on the technology, and secondly, but not all founders, of course, also on the manufacturing and then also on the business. But I think that it's really a lot of founders, their focus is mostly, especially in tech, is actually technology, sometimes manufacturing as a secondary, and then business as a third. That's not to say that all founders are the same way, but that seems to be often what happens. Now, when I look along this timeline, if you're moving along this sort of technology timeline, you kind of have things that you're working on the basic principles of your technology concept, your proof of concept, your technology validation maybe in the lab, technology validation in the relevant environment. And these are the things that I start to think you really are adding value now when you're taking that technology out of the lab and actually checking it out in the real world. Demonstrating that technology for yourselves, but also in front of clients, finding alpha, beta customers. Now you're starting to add value. System prototype, now you've got some tangible hardware. Now you're starting to complete the system and qualify the system. And then just finally, you're ready to deploy the system. Now, the reason I bring all this up is that a lot of founders, as I say, they're technology focused, which does bleed its way then to manufacturing. But I feel like the focus is not always on the business side of things. And they're moving through these kind of technology readiness levels over time. And, I put here that, the spend is going up. I mean, in some ways, this is not, a good sign. I mean, the spend is happening, and essentially you've got to deliver at the end of it. Now, something that, ZP now, we've been around for 10 years, and I see a lot of founders, I see a lot of companies, and I can see that, everyone has a plan that in 5 years they're going to be on the market. Well, in reality, because we've been around for 10 years, I see that actually most companies maybe don't make it to the market in 10 years, and maybe even don't make the market in 15 years. And unfortunately, what you see is that after after 15 years, easily 90% of all companies have essentially failed. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, so I don't like to be negative, but this is the reality of it. So the reality for me is that people raise money, people spend money, people are very focused on the technology. Secondary to that, then there's the manufacturing, because if you're producing hardware, you won't need to manufacture it. And sometimes a little less so actually on the business side of things, because a lot of the founders that we meet are scientists and engineers, and so they do like the technology, and the business side sometimes is something that's actually more new to them. You've got to be careful with generalizations, because there's always an exception in these cases. But we would really like to shift this around a bit and actually give founders and entrepreneurs the ability to actually focus more on the business aspects of things. Manufacturing is important, and actually I want to demonstrate that the technology stack at ZP can actually help founders to focus on business and potentially manufacturing, and actually technology can be more taken care of. So we want to move the focus onto the business side of things. And the other thing that we want to really do is actually slash this 10 to 15 years, or founders say they want to do it in 5 years, but we really want to bring this down to 2 years. Now, you still have the spend, but we want to do the spend much more efficiently, and we do want to get this, for us, one of the mantras at Zimmer and Peacock is succeed fast in some ways. If you have to spend 10 to 15 years and at the end of it you fail, that's 10 to 15 years of your life, let's say. So we want you to be successful much quicker on than that. So if we look at this kind of line of technology development, we say the technology stack at ZP can take care of basic principles, it can take care of technology concept, it can take care of system prototype, it can take care of system complete and qualified, it can also take care of deployment. There are still things to be done. You need to prove some principle or something. You do need to validate in the lab. You probably do need to take it out. You do need to take it out and into the environment, and you do need to demonstrate it. But we are cutting away many of the things that are otherwise impeding you from getting to market. So the technology stack at ZP, when you look at it, we've got hardware here, we've got sensors here, we've got apps here, we've got the cloud here, and we've got connection to third-party cloud as well. And all this hardware exists, and it's designed as an OEM solution. That means that we may be the manufacturers, but actually you're the ones who brand it and take it to the market and give it application. So we can take care of basic principles because, hey, look, the principle is it exists. The technology concept exists. There is the hardware. The system prototype exists. There it is. The system is complete and qualified. We manufacture this. We ship this around the world. And there's also a big chunk of what it takes in a business, and a lot of business spend a lot of time doing this, which is actually you will make sales. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to go out and focus on the business side of things. So you have your clients. Now, often you actually have to build up the logistics because at some point you're going to make a sale. So your client sends you an order, but now ZP, you can actually, if ZP is your partner and you're a client of us, you can send instructions. We'll manufacture the sensor. We'll manufacture the meter, which we already have. We'll put them together in a box. We'll close the box and we'll send the box to your client. So that means the system is deployed. And that is a big saving, which can often be, at least a team of 3 to 5 people just to do your kind of logistics and your back office. And we're suddenly taking care of that for you. So the question might be, why would you want to do this? Or why is ZP wanting to even do this? Well, the answer is this. This is the sort of product life cycle where you will have, we want you to go out there and sell and enthuse the technology enthusiasts early on. These are the people that are going to first buy your product. Then there's the visionaries. These are just slightly behind your first key, not so much key opinion leaders, but the people who are initially going to make the purchases. Then you have the pragmatists. So you have visionaries who are willing to just, let's say, take the risk. Pragmatists who are waiting to hear from the visionaries how this is actually playing out. You have the conservatives who are going to be sort of 5 years from when you first start selling, and then the skeptics who are really kind of 10 years potentially from when you first start selling. Now, why are we trying to accelerate you by putting the technology stack in place and by putting the order fulfillment in place? The reason we're trying to do this is there's this gap that you've got to get onto this market and start infusing these technology enthusiasts and these visionaries early as possible. So that's why we want your focus on the business, because people underestimate the difficulty of the business side of things, the business of selling and marketing and business development. So we'd like your eye on that gap, because that gap exists and you need to be figuring out your strategies. They call them bridgeheads, how to get, bridgehead is how to get onto the market in the first place, but you're going to have to figure out how to get across this chasm so that the pragmatists will start buying your products. Otherwise, you could find yourself falling into this chasm, a big drop in sales, and essentially you would join that sort of 90% failure rate that I discussed earlier on. So we're trying to, at ZP, take care of the technology and manufacturing. The technology, we take care of it because we actually have this technology stack that you can come onto. The hardware exists, the sensors exist, the app exists, the cloud exists. You have to find your niche in your market and deliver it in such a way that your clients will find it kind of interesting. And then there's also the ZP takes care of manufacturing and logistics, because we're already doing it. People place, they sell to their clients, they place orders with us, we ship to their clients. I mean, it's the kind of Amazon model of order fulfillment. Now, if you want to see this technology stack in place, just know that we do a webinar and a demo. This is a live streaming demo every month. Now, the next one's on the 27th of February. We do one in the morning and one in the afternoon. The morning one will cover people in Asia and Australasia. Also, people in Europe can attend that one. The afternoon is also good for Europe and good for the UK. And then the afternoon one's also good for guys waking up in California as well. That's why we do two, so we can cover the globe. But as I say, it's not just a webinar, it's actually a live streaming demo of the technology stack as well. This link will link to the webinar, and if it's after the 27th of February, don't worry, we do one every month. And so I would just ask you to contact us and ask us when the next webinar is coming about. So in summary, ZP is here to increase the probability that you'll survive that 90% failure rate, and also to allow you to focus actually on the thing that's the hardest, which is actually that sales, marketing, and business development, because the technology stack already exists and the order fulfillment already exists, and we want you to kind of leverage that. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, thanks very much.